Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of things sent to me in the mail.
Okay, so this is a very exciting gift. I feel very lucky to have received Star Trek Adventures with this very dramatic cover. The role-playing game from Modiphius using the 2D20 system. I've had the PDF for a while, so I'm fairly familiar with it, and comparing it to Conan, Adventures in an Age Undreamed of. But we'll be running Star Trek. I'm not sure for how long we'll be playing it. Our Star Wars group is going to transition into a Star Trek group for a while, with mostly new players, as many of our long-term players have moved on to other locations. So, you may hear more about our ongoing voyage and us going places boldly, or boldly going places. I'm pleased to see that the pages were done in a low gloss paper. Makes it quite easy to read. I like this high contrast look, especially because so much of the text in the book is colored. There's lavender and yellow and orange text, so having a black background makes it a lot easier to read, makes it really stand out. And of course, it makes the space-based art really pop. As an example multicolor page, we have something like this, right? With a mix of white and lavender and pink and orange and purple. So, all right. So, easy to read even under the ugly lighting I've got going on right here. Most of the pages in the book are simply text. This is an example page with a lot of charts and with some half-page art. All right, chapter heading, more art, but this is a more typical page as you go through. The page count for actual usable content is 384 pages. There's ads and things at the back, and I always include the index in my list of things that are useful in a book. The game is set during the Next Generation era, although it does provide guidance for playing it during the original series, if you like, which is something that I would lean toward. But I'll be running a campaign soon set in the Next Generation era. The book walks you through the Star Trek philosophy, the philosophy of the United Federation of Planets, and sets you up to play the crew of a Federation starship. It makes every effort to help the players and the game master not only get into the intended genre, but to learn a new game system. And it shouldn't be a surprise to hear me recommending people starting at the first page and working their way through to the end. There are many assumptions from a more typical role-playing game experience which will not be reflected in this game, and you should take the time to acquaint yourself with what it's trying to do first, then understand how it's trying to do it, and then try to do that.
Now, at this point, sharp-eyed viewers will be wondering, hey, where was the box? Where was the unboxing? Well, I filmed it, and by the end of it, I was pretty upset. Someone had spent their money, taken their time to send me a gift, and Amazon dumped it in an oversized box with one thin strip of 3 air pillows and sent it internationally. I really was unimpressed. I've complained to Amazon. I'm not going to show it. The damage to the book was insignificant, but if I had been ordering it to keep as a showpiece, I would not be able to do so. Very unimpressive. But there is an unboxing in this video, and it's coming next. Because of the commitment of a viewer to sending me the book, because of the new commitment among this new group of players that I have met around playing Star Trek using this new system, I ordered the dice. I ordered directly from Modiphius. And I had hesitated about ordering the dice before because of the dice sets. Well, things have changed on the Modiphius website.
This big box arrived for me today from Modiphius Entertainment, as you can tell. It doesn't have a lot in it. Okay. This is dice for the 2D20 system. We have Conan dice, and we have Star Trek dice. Now, there's a significant price difference between the Conan dice and the Star Trek dice. One can only assume that that's the licensing agreement to allow there to be Star Trek anything involved in the role-playing game. So that was pretty interesting. I picked up the dice because I want the experience of playing Star Trek, which we'll be doing soon, to be as smooth and as easy for the players to pick up as possible. And while the game is completely playable without digging into the specialty dice, it's faster and easier to use the dice. So that was one component. Well, let's open it up and take a look. The Conan dice, they have a single set available, and that makes it pretty easy. The Star Trek dice, however, there are different colors according to the branch of service. This is how everything is inside the box. We have a lot of these air packets, and then on the top and on the bottom, the dice sets sitting in. So the dice that I ordered are actually singles. This is a new thing. The dice used to come in a set like this, and you would get 3 of the specific service color that you wanted, and 4 of the D6s, but now you can order them in packs of 6 and loose. So that's the way that I went. I'll be playing with a large group of people. We'll have to distribute the dice around the table, so that's why I've gone with this number of dice. I wanted there to be comfortably enough themed D20s for even very proficient crew members or with lots of advantage on their side to be able to roll a set without re-rolling anything, and then of course the D6s likewise, and to pass them around the table with ease. Similarly with Conan will be following Star Trek. We want the same kind of situation. So let's take the dice out of the plastic so we can get a better look at them. Let's start with the Conan dice. What we see in the D20 is that the 1 has been replaced with the Phoenix symbol, the symbol of Mitra. The 20 is unmodified. In fact, every other number on this die is unmodified. In the 2D20 system, you want to be rolling under a target number, so 1 is the best number that you can roll. So it's replaced with that symbol. For the D6s, which in Conan are called combat dice, the 1 is replaced with this success symbol, and you'll note that it has 1 flare on it. Imagine it's like an orb or something. And the 2 is replaced, of course, with one that has 2 such flares on it. Right? So 1 success, 2 successes. 3 and 4 are a wash. They're neutral. They gain you nothing. Right? 5 and 6, once again, have the Phoenix symbol on it. And one thing that I particularly like about the Conan dice is that the numbers are also included. So that's the 5, and this is the 6. Okay? And what that gives you is a success plus an effect. In addition, in the Conan set, you get a third D20, which is a hit locations D20. And you're right now looking on the top face, which is the torso. This is the area most likely to be hit in a random roll in Conan. The hit locations include the head, both arms, and both legs, and the torso. Hit locations are important in Conan primarily to promote more flavor. When you think back to reading Conan, hit locations are really significant in how the text, how the story plays out, and so they are a part of this game. One particularly interesting rule that works along with hit locations is how armor works. You can have different locations on the body armored differently, and if it turns out that you have taken a wound, you can actually sacrifice or allow a particular piece of armor in that area to be destroyed rather than take that wound. This really brings your armor out into the description, into the narration, and I'm really fond of this. I like hit locations as a general rule. I think it makes combat-heavy games far more interesting, and this just sweetens the deal for that. So the Conan set comes with, as we can see here, 3 d20, 2 of which are normal d20, and 1 is the hit location die. And it comes with 4 of the combat dice. Now, 2 d20 is definitely one of the most misnamed systems going, because you'll need anywhere from 1 to 5 d20s, and you'll need a significant number of combat dice. I don't know how many of the hit locations dice you'll need, so buying the sets, if you're going to be playing scattered across a large table or around a large room, having multiple of everything is a good deal. Now, let's take a look at the Star Trek dice. Okay, the Star Trek dice come in 3 different colors for the d20, and these are not called combat dice in Star Trek, they're called challenge dice. But as you can see already, they work the same way. The 1 is replaced with 1 starburst, the 2 with 2 starbursts, 3 and 4 are blank, and 5 and 6, although they're not numbered, are the Star Trek Delta. Right? They have the exact same effect as for the Conan combat dice. The d20s are laid out exactly the same way, except here we have the Star Trek Delta replacing the 1, and we have the lovely Star Trek font. Right? So you have 3 colors to choose from: science, command, and operations, because they're drawing from the next generation era. Whereas my eyes definitely sees these in a different order, with the gold being command. But either way, you can now get the Star Trek dice independently or in broken sets if you like. So you can order in sets of 6 challenge dice and individual 1 d20 to get as many or whatever mix that you like. And so that's what I ended up doing, because these sets come with 3 d20, and if I remember correctly, they come with 4 d6. Anyway, so I ended up getting 12 of the challenge dice, just in case, and because I know we'll be playing around a large surface, and I got 2 of each color. So this gives us a total of 6, which is more than any one player is likely to need to roll in any single roll, and it's enough for most people around the table to easily be able to reach out and get 2 or 3.
If these dice aren't enough, then I have this universe set with 6 d20s and 6 d6, which should do the trick nicely with their very evocative space theme.
Like me, a lot of the people who watch these dice videos like to see them rolled. So let's do that just for fun. Well, a 2, an 8, and a 15. From great to not at all great on the red die. The d20s are standard size, and the numbers are fairly large, although their font may make them hard to read at a distance. For the Conan dice, we got a 3 and a 4, which is nothing. We got the Phoenix giving us an effect and 1 success, and we got 1 success, so not a bad roll there. 2 successes and an effect. Cool, on those 4 dice. Let's look at the hit locations die. Torso, we're most likely to get this result. There are 6 out of 20 chances. Head, we're least likely to get this result. There's only 2 chances. Torso again, not surprising. Head, well, that is surprising. Okay, let's roll some more. Torso, okay, fair enough. Now, sooner or later, we should get some kind of arm or leg. Okay, so left arm. One more time. Left arm. That is the nature of random chance. Sometimes it doesn't seem so random at all. In Mithras, I always get the left leg.